ask you some questions. Have you ever thought of making a nutritious meal for kids in malnutrition? Have you ever thought in what a kid needs daily? Or how you should make a forty meal for kids in malnutrition? Well, today we're going to answer those questions, and we're going to present you a project that is Enlachas. First of all, we created this recipe because we wanted to make and provide a variety of food for the children that are in malnutrition. Also, we want to give them a delicious and healthy meal. Apart from that, we also wanted to have the necessary nutrition. The criteria that we took was the age of the children. The kids are between 4 and 10 years old. The amount of calories that they will need daily is 1600. The amount of carbs is 130 grams. The lipids daily are 47 grams and the proteins are 46 grams.
So how we did it? First, we cook with the sauce and the leches to make a 40% of the kids that are not active. A normal kid needs 1,600 of calories daily, but these kids are not active, so they needed 1,400.
Okay, so we chose three ingredients of the recipe to show to you because we think these are the ones that contain more. Beef, for example, has a lot of zinc, which strengthens the immune system, which can help against diseases and things like that. Phosphorus are used for stronger bones, and beef also contains many vitamins of the complex meat, which help with the metabolism. Lettuce, on the other hand, doesn't have much calories, but it includes a lot of vitamins, such as vitamin C, folic acid, and it also contains small amounts of phosphorus, potassium, iron, and calcium. Oatmeal is one of the whole grain cereals that are more nutrient dense. This means that they are better than nutrients, such as the ones that we study.
Our average of carbs, lipids, they were really specific because they need a amount of carb, 15%, and we did 14%, and lipids as well, 15%, and we did 15%.
Okay, so the total cost went at 4 is with 3.9 metals, we use it down there, and those are the prices for each of the ingredients.
Sorry, what was the total cost for the recipe?
3.9 metals.
For all of this?
Why should you choose this recipe? This recipe shall be used to not only provide kids with the necessary nutrients, but to also give them a chance of variety and delicious food. Thank you.
Okay. We need to go very fast with your comments, you guys, and you're giving me a lot of trouble. Because that's one of my favorite recipes ever, right? It's one of the things that I really enjoy the most. Just 3 things that I'm going to take into consideration. First, thank you for including something that is taking into consideration vitamin B, which is a very important part that most people do not take that into consideration. Second, although I can see that you are providing us with a variety of different things, take into consideration that meat, it's a quite expensive resource, that it is not something that the communities are going to find very easy, and it is not easy. This kind of meals is not easy to keep, since they don't have any refrigerator or any place where they can keep that part. And nutmeg, it's one of the most expensive spices. And although you can buy it once, you can buy more resources that allow you to nutmeg. You can use any other herb that is much cheaper, like cilantro or parsley or any other thing that can provide with more flavor, because that's what nutmeg does. It just gives flavor. It can be substituted with any herb. And I really love the idea that you are including water as part of the meal. That's the first group that is doing that, and it is something very, very important, that you are including water as the consumption that needs to be done. I can say a lot of more things, but I'm going to write them down.
Good morning. Thank you. I guess what I like the most about this is it's very diverse. You're going to capture a lot of different nutrients in this meal. It is a little more complicated for the communities to prepare. Doesn't mean that we can't do it every now and then, but it is true that they don't have the refrigeration and the way to keep the meat. But I think the best thing about it is you took into account all the different groups of nutrients and all of that, and this is a very healthy. And according to the 3 quetzales, 90, that was per child, per serving.
How many servings can we do this? 4.
Yes.
Okay.
But that's a good price point though. That's not overly expensive in spite of the fact that there's meat in there. So, we can certainly, yeah, I like it. Very good.
So, good morning. Our names are America, Alejandra, Luisa, and Isabella. And the recipe we're presenting to you today is our chicken salad. So, let's go.
Okay, so why did we create this recipe? We created it keeping in mind the basic elements of nutrition. And here in Guatemala, many children suffer from malnutrition because they lack of sources that will fill their needs. And we included many colorful ingredients in a recipe which will attract the children and they will be interested in eating our recipe. And our plate contains 3 different recipes. And we took in consideration children between 4 to 13 years old. And within this age range, poor diet or lack of it causes malnutrition. And with the simple, nutritious, and also with a low budget, we could create this recipe to demonstrate that malnutrition can be prevented.
So now on to our chicken salad. These are the description of some of the ingredients that we included. First comes the chicken. Chicken is very high in protein, which we thought we could include because these children are malnutrition. Then we have the bell pepper, which contains vitamin C and antioxidants. Then we also have the celery, which is a source of vitamin K, provides folic acids, fiber, and potassium. And celery has vitamin A, B, and C, which we thought would be very convenient for our recipe, considering these kids are lacking many nutrients. Also, for our full color salad, we went with colors because the more colorful it is, the healthier it will get. So the spinach, with the chicken, we got a lot of proteins, but the spinach will also give us protein. It will give essential minerals for the organism, as well as potassium and calcium. Plus, it gives a great quantity of vitamins of group B. Then we have the carrot, which contributes with the vitamin C and fiber. Also with the corn, and it is a source of vitamin K, provides folic acids, and fiber and potassium. Celery has vitamin A, B, and C, which celery is in the other side.
Mashed potato. This potato is a type of carbohydrate that is very complex, which converts it to a source of natural energy. As a plus, it will bring 7% of daily needed proteins such as vitamin C, vitamin B6, and vitamin B3. The minerals that the potato contain are potassium and magnesium. It is fundamental in order to produce red blood cells and perform metabolic functions efficiently.
Total cost. The total cost was 3.58 cues per dish. To figure it out, we weighed each ingredient and the amount we used, dividing the amount we use by the total we spend, and we divide it by the amount of each ingredient we love.
So this is the, it's my show. What we're about to show you is our chart with the cost for our ingredients. And once you get to see it, you will probably notice that some of the ingredients look very high in cost. But as Isabella just explained, it didn't matter how costly they were, because when we decided to split it up in every individual dish, we were able to afford every portion of it into a 3.58 Qs budget. And you don't get to see it, but I just explained it. So yeah, this is it. So let me explain it again now that we have it. We can be patient. So I guess you won't be able to see it, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much, girls. Don't worry, he's gonna know. Oh,
The presentation was missing.
can we maybe do some comments as
While we're waiting.
Sure. Girls, I'm in love with everything you're presenting over here, because me as a cook, as a professional cook, that's the way we do things. It has to be very appealing, very interesting. It has to contain everything that you are showing over here. I really, really like this, but I have two problems. The first one, although I love the dishes that you are presenting, I'm not really sure if they are going to be community appropriate. Because most of these things are in an urban environment. This is very, very appropriate. But in those communities, I don't know if they are going to be they're that easy to prepare or that easy for them to accept. So that is something that needs to be taken into consideration. And the other one that I can see is that chicken, although it's a very nutritious ingredient, it needs a lot of care. And in the communities, we don't know if they have access to something where they can keep it cold, so it is not going to be contaminated, because most of the times they raise their own chickens if they have the resources and they have to kill it themselves, right? So those are the two things that I see that they might show problems, but besides that, I really like what you did. Very interesting.
And I agree, I love the color, the color to attract the children so they'll eat it. That's very important, that preparing in a way that they're gonna want to eat. However, it is a little, would you be able to prepare this for 125 children? It might be a little difficult, maybe. So yeah, there's that kind of complication. You've done a wonderful job of using many different nutrients in there, so it's a very diverse meal in that way, and that's really great.
And I'm just seeing two ingredients, and I added that over here that might be very difficult to get them in the communities, which are butter. Butter is a very difficult ingredient to get in those communities and to keep. And the other one was the mayoliva that you are using.
Oh, but about that, we thought that to get like a cheaper recipe, even if you wanted to even lower the budget, that's why we have the limes here. You can replace it, but we went with the mayoliva to attract more the children by the flavor of the dish.
Those are the replies we were expecting. Very good. Very good one.
But it is true, they probably would not have access to mayoliva in the communities.
It is not for being cheap. It's not because it is cheap or not, but it is difficult for them to access for those ingredients. But besides that, I can see that this is a very colorful idea, and this is very appealing for children it's going to be very appealing, but it's quite difficult to prepare.
The part number was Delia and we're going to present our recipe.
We chose this recipe because the ingredients are easy to obtain. It complies with the budget, is very delicious, and it contains all the nutrients that these children need to grow healthy.
So the ingredients contain chocolate, bread, eggs, vegetable oil, and salt. And for the lemonade, we use lemon water and sugar. The nutritional value is we have what is needed for these children. So they need between 1,700 and 1,800, and we have 1,740 calories. We have 78% of carbohydrates, 11% of proteins, and 11% of lipids. Just what we need.
And also achieve between 4 and 13 years needs from 107,000 to 108,000 calories, so we took into consideration that when we create the recipe. The cost of the recipe is for Q. The eggs comes to Sales, so 0.003. Chayote is 0.50, bread 0.20, vegetable oil 1.08, lemon 0.16, and sugar 0.05. So this is how it looks. Final look. We have finished, but we can show you the procedure.
Very fast, you guys. You're making me a very proud teacher and very proud cook because you paid attention to what you were requesting for information. Originally, they were going to do this eggs and loroco, but I explained them that loroco is a very seasonal ingredient and it is not that easy to get for all of the communities. So I went for them. And then we were discussing about chayote as one option. The only thing that I would change, you guys, is that I would substitute bread for tortillas. Because bread is not that common in all of the areas where the communities are going to be working. And they are very used to tortillas. So that is something that I would really change. Although the idea of using bread is very good, this is something that they are more used to. So that's the only thing I would change. But besides that, I really like it. Very.
You want to see our video?
Our recipe: eggs with chayote, bread, and lemonade. Why did we choose this recipe? Well, after analyzing our options, taking into account common allergies in kids, and trying with different ingredients, we concluded that this recipe was the best because it provides all the nutrients a child needs. The ingredients are easy to obtain, it is also very tasty, and it complies with our budget. All of the reasons which make it perfect for these children and their students.
Nutritional value. A growing child needs from 60 to 50% of carbohydrates in their food. The diet should be made out of 10 to 15% of protein, and there should be no more than 30% of lipids in each recipe. Our recipe contains 1,740 calories. A child between 4 and 13 years of age only needs 1,700 to 1,800 calories. The calories from our recipe come from carbohydrates, which contain 78% of our recipe, proteins, which are 11%, and lipids, which are another 11% in our recipe. Costs. As a budget, we were asked to have 4 quetzales per person. Our recipe contains eggs with chayote and bread, and as a refreshment, lemonade. The eggs with chayote and bread have a total cost of 3.28 quetzales, and the lemonade has a cost of 42 cents. In total, the total cost per person is 3.50 quetzales.
Why you should choose our recipe? First of all, we believe that our recipe, in addition to having a good flavor, it was designed to satisfy the essential nutrients that a body needs. With 4 quetzales, we managed to create a recipe that includes a dish with a good nutritional value and a beverage that complements it. Our recipe was carefully analyzed, and we tried to make it as accessible as possible, taking into consideration the quantity, budget, and ingredients so it can be prepared at any time of the year without its price being affected. This is why we believe that our recipe deserves to be chosen.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Champions, and thank you for being here and listening to our idea. We are Dani, Sandy, and Diane. And first of all, our recipe is called Excellent, and it has ingredients like eggs, beans, spinach, banana, bread, and juice.
Why do we choose this recipe? This recipe, we chose it because first of all, we wanted to help malnourished kids and give them just a hand. Our second goal is by giving them enough nutrients for a day. And our third goal is to spend less money with our ingredients.
Our grade here. Okay, we're not going to lie, it was quite a hard task to do. It is quite hard to find ingredients that are high in nutrition value, however, lower on the cost side. Usually we kind of pay for what we get, so if we buy expensive things, we buy high quality things. However, I think we kind of made it. As you can tell, it is not a very elaborate meal. It is something simple, however, it has various nutrients. We had to think of things such as the kids being malnourished and them needing nutrients that we might already have. We needed to include things as fats, proteins, calories, and lipids. Carbohydrates.
Our recipe nutrition value. In calories, is 898 calories. In protein, is 33.4 grams of protein, 127.8 grams of carbs, and 37.84 grams of lipids. The micronutrients in our recipe are A, vitamin C, vitamin D, iron, calcium, and magnesium.
So the cost for our recipes were for the 2 eggs we used, it was 68 cents, 34 cents each. For the bread roll, we used 75 cents. For the tampico, which is our juice, we used 75 cents, as is for serving. And for the beans, we used 1.75 quetzales. So the total cost for the meal was 3.88 cents.
We think that you should said, we're not used to have a limit budget. So we made the less than food by finding high nutritional value ingredients that were cheap, and also we made a delicious meal. So I think you should eat this.
So that's the end of our presentation, and hope you liked it. And if you have any questions or you have any
Well, I don't have questions, I can just have very fast comments. That, as it is, it's a very healthy cities lifestyle meal, as I can see it over there. I love the idea that you included a raw fruit, which is something that needs to be included as much as possible. I really enjoyed that part. What I would do is I would change the rolls for tortillas again, because that's what they usually eat and what they are used to. Second, you are not paying attention to what I said about olive oil. It's a very high cost product, and it can be used for any kind of vegetable oil, can be replaced very simple. And the other one, I love the idea that you included leaves, because that's the first group that includes leaves as a cooking ingredient. And if there is no spinach, because it can happen that they don't grow spinach that often, it can be used for puntas de whisky, as I explained you last time, which is the same amount of